Would I be shocked if the Philadelphia 76ers pulled off the impossible? Not really, but would I be surprised? Yes. All right, so they go out, they win game 4. Is T.J. McConnell the paradigm shift that the Philadelphia 76ers so desperately need? They win it tonight. They get one. It's 3-1 now. Series now moves to Boston. We'll see what they do in B-Town. Cal Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. They won a basketball game tonight.
Finally, Adrian, this is what we've been looking for this entire series, just that one win. And you think about in retrospect, if we weren't able to blow those other things, what this series would be.
Yeah.
But we don't want to dwell on the past. It is what it is. We are now still down 3-1, a huge mountain to climb. So it's hard to get overexcited because we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there really is. But you know what, man? After the Sixers went down 3-0, there actually were a lot of people out there that thought the Sixers can make the big leap and big comeback, the monumental comeback. Mark Jackson, I know for one, is somebody that thinks that the Sixers can do it. But I'll just say this. All right, so I kind of knew coming in that they were going to win this game tonight. So you got to go and win 2 games in Boston. 2 out of the next 3 if you want to pull off this shocker. So I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. I'll say that for now. But hey, they got the win tonight. T.J. McConnell inserted into the starting lineup for Robert Covington. You knew that changes were coming, especially when you get down 3-0 in a series. He goes for a career high, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. So obviously T.J. McConnell was awesome tonight.
He was phenomenal. He's the spark we needed off the bench. He's brought it all series long, and he just was able to do a lot with the time that he was given. He was then able to penetrate the defense and then kick it out for some open shots. But when you do that, the defense collapses. And when they do, you got to pay attention to TJ when he's under there because he can make some pretty ill passes, as we've seen in the past. But if he doesn't, then he's able to take the shot right off the bank and get some points. I mean, he was phenomenal tonight. Love seeing the energy out of TJ. Hey, and Adrian, we got a Justin Anderson sighting too. How about it?
Yeah, for 46 seconds. Yeah, well, they were very relentless in their attacking of the paint. That's something that they definitely tried to do tonight, whether that was posting up Ben Simmons. They did that in Game 3 as well. But you saw a lot of cuts along the baseline with Bellinelli and even Ilyasova, and some really good passing from McConnell and Covington. I remember had one where he just whipped the pass right by the ear of Marcus Morris. So a relentless attack in the paint. They shot a bunch of foul shots, 26 of them in total. But again, only 7 of 26 from 3. So, the threes are still not falling. I mean, this is the worst that I've seen them shoot all season long in this 4-game series. So you'd think that eventually they're going to start hitting shots, but who knows?
And that's a big part of our attack too. But I'm glad that we just didn't pound it into their heads and continue to just keep jacking them up. We had a different retrospect and we looked at it like, okay, our shots are not falling, so why don't we go do some backdoor cuts, come off the screen, just get to the basket and get to the foul line. You're successful. You can slow it down that way, get yourself in rhythm, and you're still getting some points, That's how you can stop big runs. That's how you can really mess up an offense of the opposition is by getting to the line. And when we were successful, we were getting there over 25-plus times. So I think we got to continue to do that, but not stray away what got us here in the first place. You want to continue to take those threes, even though they're not falling, but not just inconsistently over and over and over. Like we saw it a couple times still where we were going down and taking quick shots with only 3 or 4 seconds come off the shot clock. You don't want to do that. And I thought to myself, Adrian, like, okay, we've got this 10-point lead, and they're still doing this. What we got to do is bleed the clock. And the same with Ben Simmons. Another rookie mistake where he tried to throw the outlet to T.J. McConnell when he was out there by himself, and they were able to stumble it, and it stopped the clock. And I'm like, please, dear God, do not blow this lead by doing stupid stuff like that. You just want to slow everything down and bleed as much clock as possible.
Yeah, and, we talked about what McConnell did on the offensive end, but it was what he did on the defensive end that really stood out to me. Terry Rozier was a guy that's been great this entire series, and I thought McConnell pested him relentlessly tonight. I thought he did a really good job on him. Still got 11 points, but only 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. And, something that's been happening all series with Rozier, getting a lot of open looks from beyond the arc. So while it seems like they kind of fixed that problem with covering Terry Rozier, they're still not covering Jason Tatum. And that's the thing coming in that I've been worried about is covering the wings of Boston, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That's why I've been kind of wanting Justin Anderson to see some more playing time, because if they're going to go to that switching defense and getting the mismatches against Bellinelli and Redick, you kind of want a guy in there that's going to defend. And it's not like Marco Bellinelli's been hitting 3-pointers this series. So if he's not hitting threes, well, Justin Anderson isn't going to hit threes, but at least Justin Anderson can defend.
Yeah, and he's going to rough him up a little bit, and you never know with him. He's very inconsistent, much like a Robert Covington is. So what harm could it really do? And we saw a lot during this game that T.J. McConnell was on Jason Tatum, and that was driving me insane. But he threw a body into him because it's a little easy of a mismatch. But you notice what Boston does, what we don't when that happens is we don't attack when the smaller guy is on us. Like Ben Simmons, I saw, had Terry Rozier on him at least 4 or 5 times tonight, and he completely just passed the ball away. I want him to go up strong, take that little midget down low, and just dunk on him. You got to take advantage when they're giving it to you. You know what I mean? It just drives me insane. And then the same thing when Tatum had 4 fouls. Why don't you attack him? Go after him. He's not going to put the full-fledged defense on you. You got to attack their best player, especially when they're in foul trouble. It's just basketball 101. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Crazy, Brian.
The thing that I am worried about, if they do go and pull off some shocker, they are now content with playing Boston style. They're deriving from what got them here. They're content with playing this half-court methodical pace. And I don't know if I like that. And that's what I'm worried about heading back to Boston.
Yeah, we definitely have to go into Boston like our balls are on fire. Like we just sat on top of an anthill with fire ants, and they're snipping at our testes right there. We got to go in there and go balls out crazy. Throw up any type of matchup we can, mismatch, because we have nothing to lose. Now we're on this side, kind of like Boston had coming into the series. What do they have to lose? 2 stars down, they're going to throw everything at us. Well, now the roles are reversed. We got to do the same thing. Brett's got to mix it up, and we just got to go out there and play our hearts out. Is it possible for us to tie this and go 3-3? Of course, but Game 7 is going to be the toughest game to play. There has been teams that have been down 0-3 and tied it up, but it's always Game 7 that is the clincher, and it is very, very hard, and we got to do it in their home court, and that's going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah, they got to do it twice. They got to beat them twice in Boston. It's not going to be easy whatsoever. I mean, I thought they were going to come back to Philly, tie it 2-2, go back to Boston. Okay, maybe you can win that one, but I don't think you can win 2. I think that's like asking too much. I really do. But hey, I've been wrong before. I'm just trying to keep it real here. That's all. All right, so Boston, first 3 games, they shot 45+% from the field, 48.2% in Game 1, 45.1% in each of Game 2 and Game 3. But tonight, I don't have the box score in front of me, but I know that the first 3 games, they were limiting the amount of opportunities that the Sixers could get in the open floor because of the methodical pace. Not only that, but they're hitting their shots. So when you get the defensive stops, that's how you can run. Well, tonight they're again defensive stops, but they still weren't really running that much, and I don't like seeing that. I think the key to this series is stopping them defensively, but then when you stop them, you got to get out and run and play your style, because that's where Ben Simmons is best. They're basically taking Ben Simmons' strengths away from him. You're taking your second best player's strengths away, and you're making him do things that he's not accustomed to doing. And I know that he was fine playing on the block the last 2 games, but that's not where Ben Simmons is making his money.
No, you want to get him up there, push tempo, get him in transition, have us be able to hit them transition threes, which we've seen, been accustomed to all season long, and that's where he flourishes. You don't want him to play an half-court offense. I mean, remember that one nice pass he had with the alley-oop to Embiid? Well, they tried to go back to that and he was completely off. I think they've been really roughing him up. They've been bodying him up, and Simmons doesn't like that. So you definitely want to go out there and push the pace, and Simmons has the ability to do that because they're giving it to him all day. We've seen it where they're just going to clog the paint and they're going to dare him to shoot. Well, well, you really didn't do that. And when you don't have to really defend a guy that is one-dimensional at this moment, I mean, they're just daring him to do something like that. But you got to just continue to switch it up and keep your game what you know to do best, and it's push the tempo. And I really like what I saw to Dario. He's been jumper happy all 3 games in this series. And what did he do? He went down on the block. He gave up the jumper. I mean, he had a few, but most of the time he was doing his work down low. And I'm glad that they changed it up because I thought, had a really silent 25 points tonight, but it was huge for him. We finally got something out of our one of a couple of our role players, and he had a great game tonight. Played really good defense, too.
Yeah, so I talked about the defense, but ultimately the biggest key to coming back in this series is going to be Ben Simmons getting his head out of his ass and getting past the mental hurdle, because we saw it again tonight. I mean, he gets a perfect pass on a break, and then he goes for that behind-the-back flip. Like, what was that? You had an easy layup there, and you didn't take it. And then there was a couple other occurrences where Boston is clearly giving him the mid-range jumper. Just shoot the ball. Even if it doesn't go in, shoot the ball. You had the one where he's jab-stepping Morris. He's jab-stepping. And then he goes and he resorts to taking a tougher fadeaway than when he could have just rose up and hit the jump shot. So the game is he's in his own head right now, and he needs to get out of it. It reminds me of LeBron in his early years, and I don't like seeing it.
No, and he's a mentor to LeBron, so hopefully after this offseason, whenever that may be, he can kind of mentor him and talk him out of that. You want to be aggressive. You don't want to be in your own head, because that can take you right out of a game. Look at the Toronto series right now. They are clearly the better team, and they're down 3-0 right now. Well, Ben Simmons, you don't want this to hamper you. You want to go in there, continue the game, just take the jump shots. Who cares if you miss? But I feel like he doesn't want to do that. You know, it feels like a miss or 2 misses is going to be detrimental to the team and himself, so he doesn't want to do it. And I loved at the end of the game when they were fouling him, he went down there and knocked down those free throws. That was great to see. You know, just continue to do it. You know you can do it. We've seen what he's done in his workouts. Just take the shots, man. I don't care if you miss them. I really don't. I don't think the fan base is going to care if you miss them, as long as you take them, because they have turned you into a one-trick pony at this point, and that is hampering this team.
Yeah, he was 7 of 8 from the foul line tonight. 6 of 15 from the floor. He and Joel Embiid were both 6 of 15 from the floor. TJ, 9 of 12. Sarge, 9 of 17, 25 points, like you said. So, yeah, like everybody's talking about TJ McConnell right now, which is kind of hiding Dario Sarge's performance. JJ Redick kind of struggling again. 3 of 11 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. So it's like it goes back to that, man. It's like they're switching to get mismatches against Redick and Bellinelli, but then those 2 guys combined to go 2 of 10 from the 3-point line. So if they continue to struggle, all right, I understand Redick being out there. I get that. But Bellinelli, he did have his minutes reduced tonight. He down to 24. At least I think his minutes were reduced. Maybe they weren't, but it felt like they were. And that's the switch I'm making is less Bellinelli and more Justin Anderson. You got to defend these wings. And if I swear to God, if I see Game 5 and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're making mincemeat of Bellinelli, I'm going to get pissed off. I'm going to get real pissed off. Red snorting emojis. Pissed off.
And you should be, because they are such a defensive liability. You know, you build that lead like we did tonight, and they literally just come down here, make Swiss cheese of this defense, make it look like it's easy, and get that 2 quick points without barely taking any minutes off the clock. I mean, it's like, come on, throw a body in front of them or something. JJ, yeah, because he's our sharpshooter, you want to have him out there, but he's one of the biggest defensive liabilities out there. I mean, he cannot play a lick of defense. This is a shame. He's smaller, he's undersized. He was on Tatum a few times. I thought he did an okay job, but Marcus Smart was eating him alive tonight. Eating him for breakfast. Yep. And you would think in Brett's mind, you take him out and maybe throw a Justin Anderson in there. And I really wanted to see Markelle Fultz in here at some point tonight, too. Get the kid some minutes. Give you that spark off the bench. Something. Come on.
We saw him. We saw him in a meme. You were at the game, so you didn't see the TNT telecast. He was there chanting TJ.
He's a cheerleader. He's been reduced to the cheerleader. Our top pick.
Best cheerleader in the NBA is Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, he's probably the richest cheerleader too.
Oh man, let's see what else there to really talk about. How's the traffic over there? Traffic?
stopped still right at the exit because they have all that parking over at the Link, and the Phillies are playing right now, so it's pretty jammed up.
All right. Well, we're going to answer some questions. So let me hold on. I need a minute, though, to pull it up. So I'm going to see what the people have to say. I'm curious if they think if the Sixers are going to come back. I need them to win in Boston for me to get.
Yeah.
I need to see what they do in Game 5. That's what I need to see.
That's the key game right there. It's got to be won. If you have something like that, you can easily take that energy and bring it back home for sure.
Yeah. Somebody's saying TJ has permission to smash my girlfriend.
And look at the fans wanted him in. Everybody was loving what he had. I mean, the guy just gives it his all. He embodies Philly through and through.
Yeah. If Larkin is out moving forward, that's low-key huge, says the digital print house. That's key in the sense that he's been doing a good job defensively, hounding Redick along the three-point line. So I can get behind that.
What I'd like to see with TJ, because Ben, I don't think can cover Terry Rozier. He's too small, he's too quick, and he always beats him off the dribble. So I feel like we should look at that matchup clearly. I think Ben has been struggling there, defending the point, and we got to throw maybe Covington on a Rozier and have maybe Ben Simmons cover a bigger body guy. Maybe throw him on Tatum. I want to see that matchup.
Yep. Premier 23 keeps asking, do we answer questions? We're answering them right now. We get our bid out first, and then I go to the chat. That's the way this works. I'm not going to answer questions like right from the jump. That's
tough. It screws up our game plan.
Yeah, we want to get out what we want to get out first, and then we get to the chat. Randy Holtshaver says if they win Game 5, they'll be back there for Game 7. I agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah. But Game 5 is going to be tough. I'm telling you, it's going to be tough. I mean, because like, here's the thing that I'm worried about with Brett Brown in this series. There's so many coaches you see out there in the postseason. They don't just make adjustments every couple games. They make adjustments within the game every game. Mm-hmm. And we finally saw his first adjustment, like all series basically, and that was with TJ McConnell. We're still seeing him resort to that switching defense, which Brad Stevens has made mincemeat of. We saw that happen even on the final possession for Boston in the last game. They took advantage of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid started on Horford. They got a screen, and then Jaylen Brown popped out. They switched. Joel Embiid was on Jaylen Brown. Robert Covington was isolated inside on Robert Covington. They threw the they lofted the pass on the inbounds right to Horford, and it was an easy 2 points. That was Brad Stevens outwitting Brett Brown once again. It's like people were wondering, like, oh, why is Robert Covington on Al Horford? Well, that's why.
Yeah, and he's brilliant. He knows how to draw plays out of the timeouts. He always makes, the perfect play because they always seem to score and execute it perfectly. And you look at their guys, nobody's afraid to take the shot on their team. They all can pretty much score at will on Boston. I mean, look at Marcus Smart. He must have been in the gym the last 2 years because coming out, he was a defensive specialist, really couldn't shoot, struggled. But, I mean, he's been outstanding in this series and been able to score at will. I would like to see us play a little bit more man, but then you look at it, you can't because of the liabilities of the J.J. Redicks, the Marco Bellinellis, and whatnot. But just, try to throw a body on. That's why I'd like to see and agree with you, like a Justin Anderson can body him up more. Remember in the Heat series when Wade diced us up and cooked us, Justin Anderson came in, and that didn't happen. So mix it up, right? You got to be able to make adjustments in any type of sports. I mean, you really got to set the tone. And only because he was on the brink of elimination, I'm fearing that this is the only reason we saw a TJ McConnell and a switch.
Yeah. Our boy Sean Fitzpatrick chimes in. Sarge, better tonight as well. And Brett Brown called timeouts multiple times. There must have been a full moon out tonight. See, That's true because he was calling timeouts like right before that big run was coming. He was calling them real quick tonight. So he was quick on the trigger. So at least he learned there.
He's listening to ESPN and checking his Twitter account after getting roasted. Like, Brett, what are you doing? Come on, man. You got to be calling timeouts.
Yeah.
But great to see it.
We got Premier 23 asking, name 2 things that the Sixers need to do to win Game 5.
They got to play tenacious defense, and they got to continue to get to the line.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds so simple, but they need to start hitting some shots too. But I thought they moved the ball a little bit better tonight, but I still wasn't like enthralled with it either. If that makes any sense. But I really think just it sounds stupid because Justin Anderson is not like the best player in the world, but for this series, I think he could really help out on the defensive end. And I would play him a little bit. So,
and he can rebound, Adrian. When Embiid goes out, nobody can rebound other than Embiid. If you put an Anderson in there, he can sky up there and get some boards. We need another person to get some rebounds. Now, Ben Simmons was better tonight. He had a great game. He had 13 boards. But, I mean, we got to get somebody in there that's going to be able to crash the glass.
Yeah. Philly 0024 chimes in, says, I just watched MJ possess a white man's body tonight.
Was he wearing Jordans? It was like in Space Jam. Did they drink the special sauce in the locker room at the second half? All right, MJ.
And he also says, is Mark Jackson actually a prophet? Because there was a show I produced yesterday for Fox Sports Radio, and he called in. He was like, he was very positive and upbeat. And he was like, yeah, Sixers, they have the talent to come back. They can do it. And I'm sitting there, okay, all right, we'll see. But
still hard to tell. It is 3-1 still, but I like the enthusiasm. Mark Jackson, always liked him as a player. I think he's a great commentator. That guy should be getting a coaching job, should he not? He got stiff with the Warriors job. My man Mark Jackson deserves to get a coaching job. Hire him, New York. Hire that man.
Well, I'm actually talking about Mark Jackson of the Sixers postgame show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mark Jackson.
No, not that one. The Philly one. The Temple Maine one. Temple Maine one.
Okay.
Let's see. Somebody wants to trade Markelle Fultz. I'm not trading Markelle Fultz.
Not happening.
Rozier will play better Game 5. The energy in the Garden. Celtics will win. I'm guessing this is a Celtics fan. Listen, whenever TJ McConnell has been on Terry Rozier this series, Terry Rozier has not played very well. But when he's been off of TJ McConnell, that's where we've seen scary Terry, as they say. So I'm sure McConnell's going to keep pounding him, and I don't think it's going to be that easy. Now, I get what you're saying because, well, home teams, the role players, they always play better because that's the way it works. They feed behind the crowd. But TJ McConnell, man, I think he's done a really good job on Terry Rozier this series.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. He's more pesky. He's lower to the ground like he is. He's able to throw a body on him. I mean, that embodies what TJ really is. He's a high-energy guy, plays pesky defense, and that's what he goes out there to do. He looks to get in the opponent's head, play pesky defense, dive on the floor, get loose balls. And I would love to see him on Terry Rozier for the rest of the series. And I think we need to do that in order to win this series for sure, Adrian. You cannot let him start to go off because, like I said before, Ben Simmons can't cover him. He breaks his ankles all too easy. So I would throw Simmons on a Tatum.
Yeah. Eagles Nation says, as a Celtics fan, oh, man, so he bleeds green with the Eagles and the Celtics. As a Celtics fan, I have to say good win, but because we didn't play good at all. No, they didn't. This is one of those game 4s where the road team that's up 3-0 kind of just was lackadaisical, and they just want to win in Boston at this point. And that's kind of what it was. So that's why, like, another reason why I'm not getting too ahead of myself after one win.
Right.
I need to see them win in Boston before I start taking this seriously.
They're still in control. They're in the driver's seat still. Absolutely. Well, let's hope they continue to carry this lackadaisical, energy with themselves and figure, well, we're up 3-1. We can easily take this in Boston and end it. Let's hope they're just continuing to sit on that high horse and give us that little bit of hope. That's all it takes.
Well, if they were the Sixers up 3-1, I could see the Sixers dropping Game 5 because of the youth and the inexperience in the playoffs. But with Brad Stevens as the coach and them having some playoff experience as young as some of those players are, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Might not, but, crazier things have happened. That's why we got to go on there like our, balls are on fire, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Bonzology, my man. Sixers have been playing down to their competition when they don't feel urgency. I don't think that's going to fly.
Nope. No, what did he say?
The Sixers have been playing down to their competition when they don't feel urgency. I don't think that's going to fly.
No, and it shouldn't fly, and that's happened before. The same with the Heat. We let them keep them in games, and by letting us play the Celtics pace, it keeps them close the entire game. They're not going to be a team that's going to blow you out of the water. Their offense isn't like up-tempo, high gear. They're not going to, score 115 points on you night in and night out. They're slow, methodical. They play a lot of defense. They want to keep you close, and then that's what it's been all series. We got to really kick that up-tempo, baby, and just go balls out and score freaking 20. We got to win quarter by quarter, Adrian. We got to take it. As cliche as that is, you got to do it quarter by quarter and win each quarter.
Yeah. Walter Hopewell is doubling down on his Markelle Fultz being traded. So let me just throw at you the trade scenario that he came up with. What if we go after Mikal Bridges in the draft and trade up for a second first-round pick and get Trae Young in exchange for Markelle Fultz?
I don't want Trae Young. I want nothing to do with Trae Young.
Yeah, yeah. And then he says, I mean, they don't trust Fultz. They don't play him, so why keep him?
Well, I think the only reason they don't trust Fultz is because he didn't play 68 games.
Agreed.
So you can't really throw that scenario out there. I don't think it has anything to do but with him not playing all season.
Yeah, if he would have played more, I think he'd be playing, but I don't think he's ready for the playoff style basketball yet because he didn't play all year. I don't think he's just not ready for it right now. That's all.
And the reason you're seeing Tatum flourish like he has because he's played a lot of minutes early on and he played an 82-game season. So that's the reason why it's coming so easy to him, and he was the most pro-ready.
Yeah. Sean Fitzpatrick asks, don't you think it's ridiculous how Embiid was taunting Marcus Morris, telling him the Sixers are in their heads? Now, you were at the game, so you don't know what happened. So Embiid was trash-talking Marcus Morris, and Marcus Morris just kept going like this. Didn't even say a word. I do think it's ridiculous how Embiid was taunting. I love Joel Embiid, but that's the same thing as like celebrating after a touchdown when you're down 45-3.
Yeah, there's no need for it. Yeah, because all that matters is that they were up 3-0. So for him to try to even do that, it's come on, JoJo. You're better than that, baby. You're better than that.
Yeah. But he's like, I'm in your head. I'm in your head. I'm like, JoJo, stop it, dude.
They're in JoJo's head. That's what it is. They're in JoJo's head.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Walter Hopewell checks in again. He's just not giving up. You need a shooter at the point to win in the NBA.
Well, Markelle Fultz is a shooter. Why is he giving up on Fultz? You haven't seen him play at all. I mean, look at a little bit of time he played in Summer League. I mean, he looked really, really good. And then the injury happened, and then you saw him play 2 weeks at the end of the season. You got to give Markelle Fultz more time before you quit on the kid.
Yeah. Next year, put Ben at the 3 and give up your 10th or 11th pick for Rozier. Get a true scoring guard at point. All right, you know what? I don't want to answer any more trading questions because we're in a series here, and we'll get into like trade scenarios after the year's over.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty much it for all the questions. So thanks, guys, for tuning in and checking in with the chats. We will answer questions at basically after we're done speaking and making our points. So I know one individual was wondering why we weren't answering questions. So that's kind of the way we operate here at the Bitterbirds. So anything else you want to say about the win tonight?
I'm just happy that we were able to get at least one win at home. They didn't bring out the broomstick, so it's not a total loss. But again, if we do end up losing this series, you got to be proud of what the Sixers have done. They've made huge strides. We've won 10 games 2 years ago, 28 last year. So for us to be able to win 52 games this is a learning experience, camaraderie. You got the city back into loving basketball again. So even though it does suck and we got spoiled with all this winning, you got to look at it and say we got to the third seed. We made it to the second round of the playoffs with kids that are 21, 22 years old, 24 years old. It's been a special year.
Yeah. Well, before we start reflecting on a special season, let's take Game 5. Let's go to Boston and let's beat them in Beantown, and let's just see what happens. That's all. One game at a time.
That's right. Cliche sports analogies. I love it, but that's what you got to do, baby. One game at a time. And let's go out there and go balls out and go crazy. Take it from Boston. Because if we win Game 2, they're going to start to get a little flustered and get a little worried and scramble.
Yeah, and by the way, that led me to I wanted to answer this one guy's question. I forgot. See, my internet's being real slow. All right, forget it. Here it is. So because my boy LT Metters checked in, and he said it. It's time for a deep postseason run for the Sixers. So he misses Eagles football.
Don't we all, man? Even after watching that draft, I got so hyped for football. I can't wait. It's awesome. But now we got basketball and baseball season. A little bit of warmer weather, but I'm still looking forward to fantasy football and during the regular season. Gets me hyped.
Yeah. All right. That's it from us. That's Kyle Gaffner. I'm Adrian FedQ. Let's take Game 5. That's all we can do. See ya.
Peace.